Liverpool's record-equalling 20th league title after a 5-1 win against Spurs at Anfield.
Yeah, I'm glad you said it, not me. Liverpool's Premier League success is even more impressive given three key players have been playing much of the season with doubt over their long-term futures at the club.
Yeah, good point. Virgil van Dijk, of course, and Mohamed Salah have already signed contract extensions to keep them at Anfield, but Trent Alexander-Arnold's future still in doubt. Reports linking him with a free transfer to Real Madrid, and those rumours have not gone away. Well, Trent was soaking up the atmosphere at Anfield after full time. He looked emotional during the Cop's powerful rendition of You'll Never Walk Alone. Compare that with the dressing room celebrations just a few moments later.
Free from desire, violence says it's goodbye. Free from desire, violence says it's goodbye. Free from desire, violence says it's goodbye. Free from desire. La 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 la.
That would have been your dad last night, wouldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Facts,
Yeah, all the way in Cape Town. I mean, worldwide, celebrating that title. The celebrations are going on at Anfield still, as Liverpool won that record-equalling 20th league title.
Yeah, let's get more reaction, shall we? And speak to our senior reporter, Geraint Hughes, who's in Liverpool for us right now. Geraint, good morning to you. Lovely to see you, buddy. Look, it is the morning after, but is it still party time in Liverpool?
If it's not, it'll be starting again pretty soon. The sun is poking through. There is a wonderful afterglow in Liverpool. I'll introduce you to my guest in a moment, but I just went for a little walk to get coffees not so long ago. And what was lovely was seeing some people, stragglers, going into the offices, but wearing Liverpool tops. Some looked great, some looked a little bit worse for wear, but there is a lovely sort of basking in, as you say, the glory of the night before this morning. Right, talking about this morning's, a gentleman here who I'm going to introduce you. It's Neil Atkinson, the host of the Anfield Wrap. You are really annoying me this morning because you look amazing, but you've had about an hour and a half kip. First things first, easy question. How are you feeling?
Absolutely tremendous. You always worry it won't be quite what you hope it is, and then all of a sudden yesterday it was better, and everyone you spoke to felt that way. It was the thing we've been building up for and waiting for so long. You know, I'm 44 years old and I've never seen them win it in the ground. So that moment of getting that yesterday was remarkably special. So you've been building it up for that long, and you've been building it up since the pandemic, and then you've also now been building it up through this season and waiting, and certainly since February as they went on that excellent run, thinking it's on its way. And then you worry, well, will it be as good as we hoped? And it was better. It was the sweetest thing. It will go down as one of my favourite days in the whole of my life, and it was a pleasure to be part of every aspect of it.
Listen, we'll pick out the season and maybe where Liverpool go next, but the point you just made there, people. We were talking about it before we came on air here now. Winning the title with people. You know, we look back what happened 5 years ago. That was horrible for everybody. But winning a title with no people, how important is that word people, and that there were people there to enjoy that and spread that joy for Liverpool?
It's the most important thing. I think you get to see it in Salah's celebration. You get to see it with that shot of the Kop in the background, what it meant to the players before you even get to us. The players needed that. That's what you play football for. And Klopp actually built a really emotional squad that fed off the crowd, and then they had the crowd taken away from them at the key moments. They were 25 points clear before the pandemic hit. We'd had the moments along the way, but we never got the crown and glory altogether. And missing that's really important. There's something odd, I think, actually, looking back now on that period, which is we talk about it in this city and we talk about it in the context of football, but maybe societally we don't talk about it enough. You know, what we all lost through the pandemic, from the grandest thing, which is human life, but also to all that contact. And it's easy to talk about it in a way through football, because it's the most important of the least important things. We don't touch on it elsewhere, but there is a generation of young people who never even got properly socialised in that period for protecting older people. And, you know, what are we all doing about that? That genuinely, it might seem like a big question, but I think it's a valid one, because what yesterday shows is what was lost. It shows the preciousness of all of that, and it shows the preciousness of being able to be together. We underestimate that, and listen, it's easy to do the cliches. Liverpool is a big city for togetherness. It's a big city for telling stories. It's a big city for people like me getting in front of microphones and talking like this. But I think that the country, and not just this country, but so many, we just lost so much of that energy in that period. And yesterday, at least on a personal level and a Liverpool level and on that sort of footballing level, it feels like one step towards getting something back that was lost. And that's another reason, not the only reason, but another reason why yesterday should be cherished.
Right, let's pick down, that's important what you just said there, Neil. Let's pick down on the season. And right, listen, I'm going to give you a free pass here now, because you would have said to us on Sky Sports, but also not just us, no way Arne Slot can follow Jurgen Klopp with the title in his first season. I'll give you a free pass here. How many were wrong?
I didn't say that. I said that Liverpool had a 1 in 3 chance of winning the league. I thought
there were so many of us that thought it was going to be impossible.
I thought they had as much chance as Manchester City and Arsenal because the previous manager left a great squad of players, and it needed some honing, some refining in coaching. But I fancied them. I genuinely did. Not to win it, but I thought they'd have around the number of points they've got now. For me, the surprise is not the number of points Liverpool have got; it's how few points Manchester City and Arsenal have got. You know, you look at last season, Liverpool actually got 82 points by the end of that campaign. They were in the title race till mid-April. So I thought this is a good group of players. What Slot's done so well that I don't think anyone else has quite got this season is he's understood the strength of the league. And game in, game out, when you look at his press conferences, he does the same thing in his press conferences. The first thing he does is he talks about the quality of the opponents, talks about the quality of the Premier League. Then the next thing he does is he talks about the quality of his team. And then the third thing he does is he says, I think we should win. But he shows that team so much respect and so much awareness. And if you look, you know, I think West Ham are 17th today, and they've got players like Bowen, Kudus, Max Kilman, Paquetá. These are unbelievable footballers. And they're 17th, and I'm not talking West Ham down there. That's the quality that you face every week in the Premier League, and I think Slot has been the best with his squad at saying to his team himself, this is the gauntlet, this is what you've got to do, throwing that down to them, and they have over and over again responded, got the results that they need, and that's why Liverpool are 15 points clear.
Okay, you spoke a little bit about Arne Slot there. Some of the players that have made it happen. You know, regardless of whether you say you're surprised by whether it's City or Arsenal are so far behind you, you can only do what's in front of you.
Yeah.
Mo Salah, for example. Listen, I could list the players. Why have you won it? What's enabled you to win it?
I think what always helps is if you've got the best attacker, the best centre-back and the best goalkeeper, you're always going to be in good shape.
The spine.
Yeah, you're always going to be in good shape in football. If you've got all of those things, you can make other things work. And Slot's done a great job of getting the best out of Mo Salah. And I think within that as well, Salah himself has absolutely stood up to be counted, and he's been incredible. It's the obvious thing to say, but it's true. He'll almost certainly get Player of the Year. And then the next sort of one down on that, who I think should also be a strong contender for Player of the Year, is Virgil van Dijk. Mm-hmm. It has been such a level of leadership and organisation, but also pure quality. Game after game after game, he is the game's outstanding player. You can almost give him man of the match every single time he takes the pitch. He's been that good. And I mentioned there with the goalkeeper, but you can just go on, you know. I think that Ryan Gravenberch moving into midfield had an excellent season. Alexis McAllister yesterday scores that goal, and you just see his quality every single time he plays. Gakpo, you know, has been special through the season. And then there's even the bit part players. You know, for me, one of the key days, and at the minute it looks like he's likely to leave the club, but Darwin Núñez gets a brace against Brentford at injury time. You know, this stuff adds up over the course of the campaign. So it's important, you know, it is a squad game. We can all see who the predominant players have been because they're the ones who played the most minutes. But Liverpool, a lot of players have chipped in, and that's how you win this. You know, you can't do it any other way. And they've been absolutely tremendous from start to finish. They were good second half against Ipswich, first game, right the way through to yesterday. You know, there's been very, very few bad 45 minutes of football from Liverpool. That's how they've done it.
Neil, in fact, Mo Salah posed a question yesterday. You know, in the glory of winning the Premier League, about Arne Slot. Yes, wonderful to do it in the first season, but it's going to be more difficult for the second season. So here we go, Neil. Right, the morning in the aftermath, where you're doing so well here on an hour and a half sleep. But how did Liverpool do this in? You've got 20. You're equal with United. Yep. Get that one in there. But you don't want to be waiting another 5 years, 6, 7, 8. So how does Arne Slot continue, evolve? What does he do to evolve Liverpool, and that you are possibly doing this again in 12 months' time? Well,
yesterday was a little bit unique. It can be a little bit unique, but it was a rarity this season. Liverpool have only scored, if you take the relegated sides out of it, Liverpool have only scored more than 2 goals at home on one other occasion this season. So there's yesterday and when they beat Bournemouth 3-0. Mm-hmm. And I think one of the things that they could do with doing is just getting a bit more comfortable in matches. So when you go 1, go 2. And there's not been a lot of that over the course of the campaign. They've won a lot of games 2-0, don't get me wrong, but often the second goals come quite late in games. And what that's meant is they've got to keep playing at the very highest level. They've not been able to relax through matches. And if you want to be able to push on in the league and push on in Europe at the same time, you could do with being able to make substitutions to rest players with half an hour to go. But I said before, the quality of the league is so high. it makes that hard. You know, West Ham came a couple of weeks ago and they were better than the second half. You know, they got the equaliser they deserved, and then we had to go up the other end. So I think what Slot needs to do, if he can, is maybe add a little bit more quality to the squad in a couple of areas. You know, I think that we all expect him to add, I think, 2 or 3 defenders, maybe 1 midfielder and 1 forward. What they all look like, I expect them all to have exceptional pace and genuine technique. That's what I expect from those positions in terms of the football that Slot wants. But I think he even said in a couple of press conferences ago he'd like it to be a bit more comfortable. He said that Guardiola had said that wasn't possible anymore, but he said we're all going to try. And the other thing I think that will sort of define next season is what other teams do. You know, Liverpool could still get 94 points this season. They probably won't, but they could get 94 points. You know, if next season it goes to 99 and Liverpool got 97, you know, you wouldn't be saying, oh my God, Liverpool have been terrible. You'd say they've been incredible. So what will City do? What will Arsenal do? Because they will be the 2 challengers. They're both really good squads, really good managers, really good sides. Arsenal could still win the European Cup. So that's what you're up against. So that's what we've got to try and do, I think.
Listen, Neil, thank you ever so much for your time, and also just congratulations on, I know it's an amazing day, and you've articulated, I think, that especially well with the comparison of 5 years ago and people, and you explain it. I'm not a Liverpudlian, but there is a buzz around the city, even at this time of the morning as well. So listen, a huge thank to Neil Atkinson. Also got to flag up that Neil is going to be busy for the rest of the day on No Sleep as well, so there's no sleep for the wicked. You've got to keep going, my friend. Keep going, and congratulations, and you can bask in the glory for a few more hours. Yeah. Neil Atkinson, host of the Anfield Wrap, joining us this morning here in Liverpool.